welcome to Tampa. Have you guys been having a good time so far?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. I love it. I love the positivity here on the stage. I have so many questions for you ladies, but Jim, let's start with you.
Well, I'm just the cheeseburger in paradise over here. I'm up here with royalty, so I'm having a heck of a good time.
Well,
I think we all are. Yeah, right? All right.
So Jim, I mean, it's right there on your person. Winnie the Pooh. Tell us about that iconic role and how you have developed and created the character over the years.
Not without a smackle of
So, geez, I don't know. It's the stuff that used to get me kicked out of class. And a long time ago, I found out a way to monetize it. Now I get to hang out with them.
What was your entry point into voiceover, and how did you sort of discover that you had this talent? Because it is a true talent.
Well, geez, I was 5 years old, and I was watching the Jack Benny program. Everybody's going, who? And Mel Blanc was on there. And he was going through this bit with, you know, and he was Mel Blanc, so yeah, you're allowed to clap for him. And my dad says, you see this guy right here? And I said, yeah. He's the guy that does all those Tasmanias and the Daffy Duck and the Bugs Bunny and the this and that Sylvester. And I went, wow, he doesn't have to stand in the corner, does he? You know, and I thought, I'm gonna do that. And so I did.
And did you workshop voices, or what was your initial process?
No,
I want to go way back.
I was just really annoying. No, I didn't even know it, you know. We'd be sitting there playing Monopoly, and, you know, I was 10 or 12, and I go,
I believe I will buy Park Place.
or I'm on over there to Baldwin Avenue, you know, something. And I just, you know, I successfully waited long enough to grow up and monetize it, basically, you know. And I made my first demo tape, and the first job I ever had was Dumbo Circus. Don't think it's not on anymore. I haven't been on in a long time. And it was for a brand new thing called cable TV. Yes, and apparently Disney had one. It was a Disney Channel. And so I snuck in on their very first show, and it was great because I think we did like 65 episodes, and that kind of kept me alive during the week, you know. I was making like $400 a week more working 8 hours than I was 50 at the Video Depot. So I said, I think I'll do this.
I love it. Well, that is the life goal, is when you can do something you love for a living and monetize it. So thank you, Jim, for bringing us so many fabulous voices.
Thank you.
And now you five, I mean, such iconic roles. It's really unbelievable. Thank you all for being here together. First of all, we're all pretty excited, right? Susan, what is it like when you hear you're gonna play a character such as this, and you have to take on that responsibility, that sort of, that history and everything? It's a lot, right? How do you go about approaching the character?
You know, my dream was always to be on Broadway. Like that was my dream, and it's kind of a wonderful thing. And so many of us are from that world. But then you realize that performance is gone, you know, by 10:30 at night, 11:15 if you're in my minute. And so it's this ethereal thing, because when we started, there was no interweb yet. Like, there were no illegal videos yet being posted. But to be part of an animated feature is to be part of something that is new again every 5 years to another generation. Like, is to be part of something timeless. And I think that's where my heart just leapt, because, you know, nobody knew the character yet, so it's carte blanche. But I am really grateful that Disney often goes to this little pool of Broadway actors, and I like to say that animation supported my theater habit.
I love that. Jody, what was your initial process when you approached the role that we shall not talk about?
Yes, the role that we shall not talk about. First of all, we're super excited to be here with all of you. This is awesome. We're never together ever. So, you know, we're here for all of you, but actually, selfishly, we're here for all of us that we get to hang out and have a glass of wine and talk. Anyways, yeah, the character that we shall not mention. I did not know what I was doing. I came from a Broadway background, like Susan said, and I'd never been behind a microphone before, but it was Howard Ashman. Howard, in his brilliance, yeah, Howard, that taught me how to stand behind a mic and how to delve into a character. You're given a little pencil sketch, an inch by inch, a little square, and try to develop this character to make her real, authentic, vulnerable, so that you fall in love with her at the beginning of the movie and you root for her all the way till the end. So it's all Howard. Everything that you love about my character is because of Howard Ashman, Alan Menken, and yeah, and so, you know, I get to sing this Dream I Want song that is so iconic every single week, not during our strike right now, but I truly am never tired of singing it. And it's a trigger core memory, so that when I sing, I immediately think of myself in the booth with Howard standing to my left. Howard stayed in the recording studio with me for 2 weeks, and I don't think he ever would breathe, because you couldn't hear him. He was silent inside. It's very unusual to have somebody in the booth with you. Yeah, just absolute brilliance. So developing a character when you have a director, although he was our executive producer, Ron and John were our directors, but Howard graciously just stepped in, and Ron and John let him go because we had just done a show for 4 years together, and we had a good working relationship. Very blessed that I'm, one of the people that get to work with him not once, but twice on 2 incredible, memorable moments. So very grateful. Very grateful.
Yes. And you mentioned how unusual that is to actually have someone physically in the recording space with you. And what was his MO? Did he sort of want to guide you in any particular direction, or what was his purpose for wanting to be in there physically with you?
He was there as my encourager and my rooter. He was my cheerleader. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I was dealing with the fact that I didn't know what I was doing, and I think that's what I said pretty much all the time. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this. Why did you cast me? And basically, he's just like, you know what? You got this. This is good. You can do this. But I could do it because he was standing next to me, So, yeah, he's, and when you have a cheerleader like that in your life, you really can do anything.
Yes, amazing. We should all have Howard in our lives. We should. Paige, your character in particular had such a history, a deep history, and such love. And I'm curious, were you apprehensive at all about approaching the character and playing her because of that?
The hardest part was that she was so much like me. It was almost intimidating because it's hard to be that vulnerable and allow yourself to come through. And I always liked hiding behind characters like Edwin Drood or Fontaine or whatever. But it was different. I know the first thing I went in and they said, Ethel Merman, what are you doing? This is, we don't want you playing to the balcony. It's okay. So having to learn to make it real. But honestly, when it came together for me, it was a month later. We didn't have a beast for the first month, and Lee Benson was cast, and I talked them into letting us record together, and it cost them more money and blah blah blah. But and ultimately, it worked so well that they started to do it again for your movie, right? With you and Robin, yes. And I think we should also point out that none of these films would have happened if it weren't for Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. They begged the company to bring back animation because that company's animation was dead. It was gone. Nobody thought it would ever work again. And they believed in it so much and actually put some of their own money into the film for me. And think of all these films that wouldn't have happened had they not done that.
I would also say that the success of these films resurrected the movie musical.
Absolutely.
So even going into live action, none of
Absolutely.
it would have happened without these.
Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely right.
Definitely. Linda, it's your turn.
Is this thing on?
No, it is. There we go. Yes, so Jody mentioned, you also had the experience of having to cast come in to record together, or having your castmates. And I'm just wondering, first of all, approaching the role, sort of what your trajectory and plan was in creating the character, and then second, what the recording process was like.
Well, thanks to Paige, I got to meet Robin Williams, and that was one of the most incredible days of my life. I had grown up watching him on television, and when you had to watch it on the night it was airing, wait and watch it later. So I was with all of America on whatever night it was, maybe Tuesday or Thursday, watching Robin do his magical thing. And then I grew up and I got to be in a room working with him. And it was incredible. There was a world in which that wasn't going to be possible because I didn't actually have a lot of dialogue with him. And I was really, really hoping that they would just do it anyway, and they did. And I'll just never forget it. I'll never forget the humanity in that person and how he made this young actor feel safe and comfortable and gave me the freedom to create as well. So I made me laugh. That was just the hardest part of the day, was not ruining a take by laughing. We were in the booth together, and like Jody said, that's unusual. You're usually in there alone. And Scott and Robin and I were all in this little booth together, and Scott and I were just holding on. It was really, really hard not to make a sound in a room with Robin.
And was a lot of, in particular, his dialogue improvised?
Yes.
And were you allowed to improvise back, or were you held more to the script?
Had to repeat whatever he said. If you know the scene that I'm talking about, he says something, Scott repeats it, and then I repeat it. So whatever he said, we also said, and it's out there somewhere, or in a vault somewhere.
That should be the special edition release.
Right?
I love that. And Judy, same sort of question for you. When you were cast and you were approaching the role, a lot of history there. So what was your sort of roadmap into the character?
Well, I mean, because I was sharing the role with another actress, but I was cast first. So that I kind of came in through the back door. I knew Stephen Schwartz, who wrote the lyrics, and Alan, who wrote the music. I worked with Stephen and I knew Alan, and they were working on a pitch for Disney of a Pocahontas movie. And they had written Colors of the Wind. That's the only thing that had been written for the movie. And they asked me if I would do a demo of it, which I did. And then they told me, no, you're not going to be able to do this for obvious reasons. And even then, yes. Now it would be impossible. But anyway, I guess the studio execs got used to hearing my voice, so they decided to let me do the songs, and then they were going to look for a Native American actress whose speaking voice matched my singing voice to do the dialogue. And so, lucky me. Yeah, I mean, I guess Pocahontas is maybe the only movie that's actually about a real person who actually walked the earth. And it's not, there's lots of fantasy in it. There's talking like which I don't think exists. So it was, that part of it was really interesting because I feel like she has a kind of gravitas and she has something really important to say in the movie, and that's what really guided me, I think.
Were you in a way, I don't want to say jealous, but were you wishing you could also do the dialogue because you were so invested in the character?
Well, I would have loved to. I actually did a dialogue test, and they said I would do it if they couldn't find this person they were looking for.
So. Yeah. Well, I think
I feel so lucky that I got to sing those songs. I mean, they're beautiful, beautiful songs.
each of the projects, the songs are amazing. I mean, I grew up on them. I know them all. My kids. Then you're right, Jody. When you say you pass it down, the films are passed from generation to generation.
No, your character is the only one who has two full songs.
What? 2 songs?
No, two giant solos. Some of these ladies, most of them have one.
Okay, lucky me.
You are very, told you my niece was singing along. She didn't, I was okay, Honey Paige is okay, but not that one.
Well, Paige, you have now transitioned to the other side of the camera a little bit. So can you talk a little bit about that and the sort of process
I've always
of
been
creating?
Since I was 3 years old, my stepfather was an architect and artist, and I would steal his books, his art books. And I was copying Turner when I was 4. It was like, or thought I was. But so I grew up copying Turner and Sargent and the watercolors. And I was in acting class at the same time as a child, and my teacher would pick on me all the time, and she thought I could be better than I was. And I would make her a watercolor to be nicer to me. And so once I started bringing her a watercolor every week, she was a little easier on me, but it's all good. And then when I went to New York, I would paint watercolors and sell them on the street to pay my rent and my school. And I would copy some of the characters that we got us, the ones previous to us, the princesses. And I would sell a lot of Judy Garland portraits, because I love Judy. You could paint her on my sleeve.
I remember I bought one for $15. I sold it for $15,000 on eBay. Just last week. I can't thank you enough, darling. That's called an investment.
Do you know what it is? I am allowed to say Disney Fine Art, and it is Disney Fine Art, and they signed me about 13 years ago. And I was actually, by accident, going to Rodell's, one of their best artists ever, Rodell Gonzalez, and he was doing a Beauty and the Beast painting, and he said, I've seen some of your work, why don't you bring your Belle by Belle, let's just see what happens. And 3 people bid on it, and 1 person got it, and the president of Disney Fine Art was there, Michael Young, and he said, would you sign with us? And I thought, yes.
That's amazing.
I'm going to say, Paige is a brilliant artist. Disney fine artist.
He's
And she was so kind to do the painting for my character's steel box edition for our platinum or whatever DVD. And for my birthday 2 years ago, she and my husband arranged for a huge surprise. I have the originals from that steel box, the front and the back. They're absolutely stunning in our house, and they're just absolutely. So you need to take a look at all of her gorgeous Disney fine art.
It's fun. I'm painting all the princesses now. I'm loving it, and I can't keep Tangled Rapunzel in stock. Right now, and for a while it's your character, and your character, and your character, and right now it's Rapunzel. So it's crazy, but I'm loving it.
That's amazing. What is your artistic process like with the fine art creation? Do you start with just a blank canvas?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So talk us through.
Well, I look at screen caps of the moments that I love the best of the characters. It's got to be a moment that's very emotional, whether it's something that's really happy and fun or something very more sensitive. But something that is important in the film. And of course, the ballroom, everybody wants the ballroom of any movie that's about a princess and a prince. So that one I've done quite a few of those. But I would just literally stick with my canvas, study the screen, and drawing it. Drawing it takes the most time. I'm really a better painter than anyone at the drawing part, but I've gotten better over the years with the drawing, with the help of Don Juan and Marken. These guys have really helped me a lot. So yeah, it's a great joy. I get to do this at home, It's wonderful.
I love it. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I am definitely going to check out your art.
I don't know, I'm very shy.
I can tell.
No, well, it was interesting. Sorry, I can't resist. That wasn't me, by the way. I didn't do that. I forget who it was, but it wasn't me. But I'm sorry, what was the question? No, I...
Just keep singing.
Okay, yeah, I'll just keep singing. Yeah, well, I did have a song in The Lion King, but you weren't supposed to think it was me. And I didn't sing the whole thing. Actually, I didn't do any of the talking. But there was a song called Be Prepared, and then you laugh. Villains have to laugh at the end of the song. It's in the rule book. But I got to pitch it for Jeremy Irons, and I was crazy happy about it. I just love to sing, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And so I finished the song. I have two credits I'm really proud of. I got the fart joke in Hakuna Matata. I wrote it. Thank you. I like the class and stuff. But wait, no.
You're definitely classic this family.
And I got downhearted every time that I poop, but not in front of the kids. Sorry. Hakuna Matata. I didn't say it, but you heard it in your head. And it was fun. I just got to finish off the end of Be Prepared. And I did the villain laugh. And it was a lot of fun. And I was also the brain trust of the movie. I was Ed. Yeah. And it's probably because I kind of look like him. And they went, we got a role for you. So I sat there, and the process was that Rob Minkoff, they didn't know how to do it. They didn't know how. They knew he was the laughing hyena. And so he had to laugh. And the way we did it was, and Rob thought this up on the spot. He goes, so how do we do this? I write this down. Grief, agony, pain, loneliness, actual happiness, and disgruntledness. And we just went down the line, and he said, now give me a laugh for each of those. And I went, oh, piece of cake. So I just went down, ooh. And it was hard to look at. But, because somewhere it surfaced a few years ago that somebody found a picture of me doing it. And I remember them there was a guy over there with a video camera, and I'm there, and my hair's all dark. It was a while ago. And long, and all there. And it was really even weird to see. But it was all the weird little laughs, and one was for sadness. I don't know how you do that one, but it was a lot of fun. And did I answer anything?
You did. Absolutely. Would that be considered one of your most unusual experiences in the booth?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that and the voice of a show, of a critter called the Mangler, which we won't mention. And it was who was it? Tobe Hooper movie. He just made Christine, and a long time ago. But this one was a stupid. It was a printing press that would pull people. Actually, a big giant clothing press that was big enough to iron a pup tent, and it would squeeze people into it and then crush them, and then they would vanish. And so they wanted a voice for that. And I said, what the hell? And I said, well, no. And then they hired me to do it. And I said, I want twice as much. Because I don't know what I figured they would say no, and they go, okay. I went, crap, now I have to do it. So I did it, and do me a favor. Don't go out and see it, or on video or anything. But if you do, I'm happy to say that at the end of the thing, at the end of the credits, it says, voice of the Mangler, Tim Cummings. Yes. Tim is a bad man. And so I said, yeah, it wasn't me, it was Tim.
That is awesome. Well, you talked about the rule book of the villain a little bit, but Susan, I'm curious, for the princess rule book, what does a princess story have to have? That's good.
So, my character
Yes.
is not a princess.
Yes. But these iconic, you know,
Yeah.
these
They
iconic.
are good people,
Mhm.
unlike my character. Or me personally.
Right.
If I'm playing the princess, I really, really have to act. No, I think courage and kindness, and the courage to be kind, and your community. Community comes first, and defining your own destiny is something I so love about your character. Standing up for what she believes and defining her own destiny. Yours, just the rule breaker. Like it doesn't apply to something more, right? You understanding this isn't my body. This isn't the body I'm meant to be in. You know, you're saving the world. So thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. My character just has a string of bad boyfriends, which is why she's so relatable.
Yes. I agree. I agree. Yeah, Jody, I mean, you made such, a change. There's a huge...
I'm in the change.
You're in the... You made the change. Your character has made the change. Well, we only go through the change.
We're in the change of life.
Yes, I'm definitely in the change, but...
We all are.
But,
This is the menopause panel. It's inside my body right now.
Lucky me.
Just what's that supposed to mean? Well, now I'm post-menopause. Being the old girl of the group is gone. Thank God I got my hair back. My hair's got her hair back.
I'm sorry. What
I didn't used to say. I'm so distracted now. I'm not sure. No,
Don't ever
this
think
isn't
about
just...
it. This is not a good thing. Do you see that I keep the mic on the side?
I saw that you were sitting on it, yes.
There's a reason for that. Okay.
It's actually a question, it could be for any of you.
Okay.
There is such a dynamic, in all these stories, the lead goes through such a transition from the beginning to the end. And in the singing voice or the speaking voice,
Right.
how is that approached differently to show that transition in an animation? Because you're reliant upon the artists to render the character. You're only in charge of one thing, which is the voice.
Yes, and the voice gives birth. So for my particular animators, greatest animators in the world, I'm sorry, Glenn Keane and Mark Kemp. So the voice comes to life. They're born with the voice, right?
Mhm.
So when we're in the studio and they're videotaping us and they've got their Walkmans, this is a long time ago, they have Walkmans, they press play and record, and they're recording. So the birthing process is a team. It's a team of people, and they really don't know what they want. And I certainly didn't know what the heck I was doing. So we were in good hands. Nobody knew anything. That's good though, because at that point is creation. That's where the birthing process happens. So you all get to be part of this team and come forward. And I think the most important thing that Howard embedded in me was storytelling. It's always about the story. It's not about the voice. It's not about what the tone is on the mic. It's not about all of the equipment. It is the story. We have to tell the story. We have to tell the story authentically, with with vulnerability. I can speak English. Everyone's vulnerability. And to be just real. I mean, we have to just be real. But the thing about being in the studio that's so different than being on Broadway is that you can make a million mistakes, and in the mistakes comes the truth. So for my particular recording of my song and my dog, none of it's perfect. It's not perfect. There are a million mistakes in the song. A million. Painful to listen to. Truly, the first time, painful to listen to. And Howard said, you're not going to like it when you hear it. But let me tell you, it is not perfect, but it is perfect for this character to tell the story. And that was a big lesson, because I'm a perfectionist, grew up as one, I'm not a good trait. But I have learned how to let that go, to not be perfect, but to be real. Because when you're real, you are relatable, and people can connect to you in that way, I'm going to do I'm going to go in a whole different direction. I'm so sorry.
You do it. It is your panel.
I need to tell you about Disney Princess, the concert. Okay, so this song, it's not a plug for me, it's a plug for my friend. So Susan is the executive producer. You need to go see it, it's all around the world, and don't miss it. But anyways, I just didn't want it says time is up, and I just needed to tell you all.
We have a few minutes. Does anyone else want to weigh in on the voice?
You were about to say, Judy. You were.
Yes.
No, just a lot of people don't realize that the voice does come first, and that the animators animate to the singing and the dialogue. That comes. It's not like we're dubbing what's already there, and they do spend time in the studio with you, and they record you visually, and they're sketching. Glenn, by the way, drew my character too, and I had people tell me that when they were watching the movie, she tilted her head the way I do, and they want the character to breathe when you do, and all of those things. So, yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, that's a little tidbit that you're right. Most people don't know that the voice.
They are actors with differences. They really are.
they truly are.
So we have just a few minutes left, and all these projects, we've talked about them, they're so meaningful to so many people on so many different levels and different generations. I'm just wondering if each of you can share in 1 or 2 words what the project that you were a part of personally meant to you. Just in 1 or 2 words to try to encapsulate the experience.
It's so hard to wrap up 30 years of your life in 1 or 2 words. I would say meaningful and magical.
I love that.
Timeless.
Humbling because of all the great artistry that goes into it. I feel like we spend the least amount of time on these films, and these people are living with it day in and day out for 2-3 years, drawing and making it. It's really humbling and inspiring to watch.
I just love learning the process, not only as an actor, but as an artist as well. And of course, growing up on wonderful Walt Disney, my first movie was Mary Poppins, and my favorite movie of all time.
I'm going to say life-changing, because after 37 years, I would have never guessed in a million years I'd be sitting up on the panel with these amazing people talking about this character after all this time. I really thought it was one and done, disappear, we'd never talk about it again.
You were wrong.
I would say life-changing, absolutely life-changing.
And Jim, regarding, Winnie the Pooh, what would you say?
Well, I was flabbergasted to even be involved in it. I thought for sure I had a really good Eeyore. and I've just been very, very fortunate. I thank the Lord every day. And I can just remember, it was my first big sort of thing for Disney. And my agent called me up, she goes, well, I have bad news. And she said, some good news. I go, all right, give me the bad news. And she says, well, you're not Eeyore. And I said, oh, man. Really? Who is it? She goes, Peter Cullen. Well, you can't. You lose to Peter Cullen, you're not losing. He's just better than you. that's an easy one. She said, however, I have a consolation prize. What? She goes, you're Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. So I said, well, the hell with Eeyore. Eeyore's Eeyore. Anyway.
Something like
Yes. That's amazing. You guys, I cannot thank you enough for being here, for joining together.